It's time for Quarantine Cabaret and Cocktails with Robert Bannon and Lee Lessack.
You're here. It's the Tootsie show.
You're insane.
But my name is Dorothy, and I'm here to be in a audition for a musical. I don't know what happened. All of the numbers were going, and then there was no introduction, and I got nervous. I love a wig. I do love a wig, though.
Evidently.
Hello, Lee. Welcome, everybody, to this special week. I think we're here 32 weeks this week.
Oh, crazy, huh?
Insane. And I'm so excited about tonight's show. They're fun. It's a really fun show this week.
We have the entire principal cast of Broadway's Tootsie, which I'm so glad I got to see when I was in New York in January. I think it was January. Anyway, one of the funniest, if not the funniest, musical I have ever seen. And my friend Robert Horn wrote the book, won a Tony Award for Best Book of a Musical. It was brilliant, and the cast is insane. So talented. I loved it. I just loved it. So I'm thrilled that they're here.
I loved the movie. I remember seeing the movie for the first time when I was a kid, and then the idea how they did it and how Robert changed the storyline to fit a Broadway show. And then, of course, between Santino and Sarah and Lily and Andy and Julie and everyone, that Reg John, they were brilliant. It was really hysterical, and I had a great time. Me and my cousin Adrian saw it together. So they were a tour de force, fun night of theater for sure.
I love it. Before we hop into Tootsie Land, one of my dear friends, Greg Camp, who works with me at LML Music Presents, which is my concert production booking company. He and a very dear friend of his, Sarah Ellis, created something called MT Shorts. And basically, they work with a songwriter who writes a musical theater song, and then they make a short film of that song, and it's really, really great. And the quality is incredible, and they've got a big event happening this weekend, and I really wanted to draw attention to it. So I'm just going to show you a little clip about their company, and then we're going to have them on to tell you about what's happening on Sunday, I believe it is.
Have you ever known an artist who has lots of good ideas, but they don't make a lot of money, so they have to get jobs at places like IKEA's, assembling furniture instead of their dreams? Because making loads of money isn't as easy as it seems. Well, thank God for Greg and Sarah, boldly starting a brand new era, giving the world a new golden age of musicals, but they're not on stage. They're not on
stage. How fun is that?
Oh my gosh, so fun. Wait, before we jump in, first of all, thank you for having us. It's so good to see you guys. I have to tell you, though, that we've evolved a little bit since Lee might have last seen an MT Shorts. And we're actually now doing, instead of just one song, like full-fledged musical short films. So even this one that we have coming up this Sunday has 4 original songs in it. So we're weaving together original music, choreography, the film aspect, and putting these 2 art forms together. So yeah, a big old kahuna.
Yeah.
That's
so this weekend, you're premiering High School Zoozical, right?
Yes. High School Zoomzical. Yes. Greg called me when the world shut down in March, and he was like, we have a responsibility to make something right now, because we had already been doing things in the digital space, and he had this idea to create a movie musical that was all shot from the first person perspective of your computer screen. So you're following a cursor adding bottles of wine to her wine cart and having FaceTime duets, and we're all from the first person perspective here. So we got our friend Drew Fornarola to pen 4 songs to it and write the script, and he was game. And then we got 50 of our friends from Broadway and beyond to get on Zoom with us, and we captured it over a 2-day weekend, and now we're premiering it on Sunday.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What time on Sunday?
So it premieres this Sunday. We're throwing a big virtual premiere party in this interactive digital space called All Together now. So virtual doors open up at 7:00 p.m. And we have like musical theater trivia going on. We have a virtual photo booth that you can come and take the high school yearbook photo that you wish you'd taken. We have a mixologist who's going to be there helping craft the signature cocktail. We're doing talkbacks. And then we're doing a live broadcast concert with a bunch of our cast, and finishing with the premiere of this original musical film. So it starts at 7 p.m. And you can
Eastern
time. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the last thing I'll say is it's totally free of charge. So you have no excuse not to come, but we are raising money for this incredible organization called the Fund for College Auditions. What they do is they basically underwrite the entire audition process for students who are looking to attend higher levels of education in the arts. Because if you don't know, that is super expensive. So what they do is help lower the level of entry for students wishing to attend. So, and Lee put up the sign up, mtshorts.com/sign up.
And it's free. I mean, you can donate, but you can also go for free. I'm excited.
Lee, are you going to come?
Of course.
Yes, I'm coming too. We're coming.
You have to come. It's going to be so fun. We had tech last night, and our host, Matthew Curiano, our performers, it's going to be so fun. We're going to be playing games, and it's just going to be a really spectacular evening and engaging. It's not just your normal live stream. You'll be involved. So
I'm definitely coming, because that way I get out of having to watch the football game. Mark is serious about the football.
Right. Well, listen, if we can't gather in person, what we're trying to do is just create a space where we could still have that feeling of celebration and new works, creating the next generation of artists, and just gathering as a community again. I feel like we all sort of need that right now. So
awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. I love doing. You're innovators, you two. Sarah, I can't believe I've never met you. I feel like you're the other woman.
I know. Well, that's what our other halves are like. Okay, so are we having dinner or are you empty boarding? This is
right. Right. I get it.
Yeah, Lee asked me to do some work today, and I was like, absolutely not until after Sunday, but
the priorities are here.
You gotta get
I know, right? I know. Well, I'm excited. We will be there on Sunday, and I'm gonna post this again. There you go. Oh no, there it is. mtshorts.com/sign up, and then you get a virtual ticket, and you can join the fun.
We hope to see you there.
You all there.
Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tootsie Cast.
Hi, Tootsie Cast. Hi, Tootsie Cast.
Well, that's going to be brilliant. What a great idea to get people to be creative in this time. I know that we're dying for art.
I love it. I just love what we're doing. So that's great.
This is going to be
excited.
Fun.
Huh?
This is going to be a lot of fun, Lee. Let's see the musical. The cast is here.
So there really is like no introduction needed. We have the Broadway principal cast of Tootsie the Musicals, one of the funnest evenings in the theater that I have had in a long time, I have to say. And my face hurt from smiling so much during the show. It was just joyful and such a talented company. I mean, it was just incredible. So I'm going to give our viewers just a little taste. If you didn't get a chance to see the musical, what you missed, and then we'll have the whole cast on, as well as my friend Robert Horn, who won the Tony Award for writing the book.
I am a great actor, Stan.
You have one of the worst reputations in this town. No one will hire you.
Something's wrong with Biscuit.
Next.
Carla, I threw it all away for you.
Get out. People hate you.
No one hates me.
No one likes you.
Excuse me. Yes, hello. Hi, my name is Dorothy Michaels.
1, 2, watch me, fussy arm. Julie Taymor. This is textbook Broadway, people.
Don't you find being a woman right now complicated?
Right now, extremely. Yeah.
I won't let you down because you believed in me, and now anybody can see I'm really alive. I won't let you. I like what you do.
Hi, everybody.
I'm kind of crying.
Julie.
I'm kind of crying. That was really something.
It is a real pleasure to have you all here. Thank you all for joining us and uniting on our little show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh my God. That was one of the most fun nights in the theater that I have ever had. First of all, I've never laughed so hard. Robert, I've known you for like 32 years. Yeah, we met at the gym. Like we were always on the electrical machines at the same time.
I have no memory of anything prior to last Tuesday.
And I'm so happy for you. It's been a long time coming, and oh my God, the book was just so funny, and this cast, incredible, just incredible.
It was the comedy you saw happened from the very first reading that we ever did of this.
Really?
This cast together, this ensemble, this group of actors together, it never wasn't what you saw on stage. It was always, yeah.
Robert, you come from you wrote for Designing Women, you wrote for the Disney Channel, you wrote for a bunch of projects. How did the idea to take Tootsie, the film, and to turn it into a musical come about? How did
they offered me a check? Yeah,
the best answer ever.
I had done a musical years ago that the producers had come and seen a reading of, and Tootsie had a few incarnations, and there was another writer doing a version of it years before I got there, and then they remembered me from that reading and came to me and what are you two doing? And they came to me and said, is it something you would be interested in doing? And I said, no, I really did. I turned it down when they first came to me because I felt like it's so iconic. I just didn't want that target on my back. But then I met with David Yazbek, and we both had a very similar vision to what the show would be, and that we could let the movie go and do our version of it, and just sort of took off from there.
Brilliant.
And then interestingly enough, I think everybody on this Zoom, except for Lilli, nobody auditioned. Lilli was the only one who auditioned, and she actually got it in the room during everybody in this did a reading of it, and after that, different readings, and after each one of those readings, we all just said, "That's it, hire them." Literally every person here,
except for me.
Except for Lily.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, because we had no idea what that role was until
you were the missing link.
You were the missing link.
Yes.
And Santino, obviously, everyone watching it, you're Tony Award winner Santino Fontana. You know him; he's the voice of Hans in Frozen, and he's been in Billy Elliot and Hello Dolly and a ton of Broadway shows. What was it like to take over such an iconic role to be Dorothy Michaels? And I mean, it's quite the.
Who's Judy? Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy. Andy, you got to say hi to Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We're watching the comments.
Please, the comments are always entertaining.
Everyone has ADD.
That's why I worked on the show. Okay.
No, it was great. It was, I think, as you can see, I mean, the cast, we got along incredibly well, and Robert and David and Scott. It was a real, a joyful family, which is what I remember the most about it, and also what I think was most fun to come back to. The role was so different than the movie. So very early on, Scott had called me with the script, and I watched the movie then, and then I watched it one time after. This is like 4 years ago now, and over Christmas with my family because it was on TV. But then I never watched it again, so I didn't have the same history with it that I think a lot of people who did watch the movie did have, which is great. But also, it wouldn't have mattered because the script is the script, and 8 out of 10 of the things in the script are not the same. So, that's a great opportunity to not have to worry about being compared to something because you're not doing the same thing,
right?
At all.
I walked out of that theater and literally couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that you were doing 8 shows a week, because I mean, you're like in every single scene. Those changes were like ridiculous, so fast. The range of your singing, I mean, it's incredible. It was just incredible.
A lot of drugs. If you stay on, I called it the full Judy. You're on the full Judy. That's who Judy is. If you get on all the drugs all the time, you'd be surprised at what you can do. Don't limit yourself. Anything is possible. No, I think, yes, it was a lot. And I think I knew that going in. I don't think I understood the extent of that, but it's also how many people get to do it and how often do you get the opportunity to try.
Right.
So that's the fun challenge of it. And I had an amazing group of people, both on stage and off, supporting me in every second to help me do what I needed to do. But also, I couldn't have done it without them. Lauren Galatelli, my dresser in Chicago, LJ. We'll talk about her later.
LJ! LJ!
Ryan Strumwasser, who did makeup and hair, who was with me all the way as well as, I think everyone understood that this was a lot. And I also think I have an idea that I think the producers at some point thought I was gonna say like all 8. Like I did get the sense that they were like waiting for me to, and at that point I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna just stay. So, do as much.
And then in the midst of this run, did you not also have a child?
A baby.
I did. September, 6 months in. Yeah.
His wife did a lot of that, but
he did most of the work there. Yes, we had a baby like 6 months in, which was interesting because that was something I didn't really. I had a producer friend tell me like, oh, a long run is a perfect time to have a baby. Not always.
Not always.
Yeah, no.
And
you're right, Julie. You okay?
Yeah,
one of my lights went out. One of my lights went out.
Your light, Julie.
And Lilli obviously plays, your partner in crime, so to speak, in the show. Lilli, you've seen her in Wicked and Spring Awakening and SpongeBob. She comes from quite the
Dynasty. Dallas. Which one is it?
Dynasty. Illustrious musical theater family. What was your journey? Well, now we know the journey to your show. You had to audition, but how was your journey to the show? And what do you think about, and when you think back on the whole experience?
Yeah, I didn't get just asked to do this like everybody else did. But I auditioned right before the Chicago run, the out of town tryout. And Robert likes to tell me that I booked the job the second I sang This Is John in the audition room.
Do it now.
Of the song I sang?
Sing the first second of This Is John for us now, if you would.
There was John.
This is John.
There you go. Perfect. Nailed it.
It was a long time ago. It's been years. I stepped into this cast that had already done a few workshops together and had already known each other. So I kind of felt like I had to like step up and prove myself. As Julie Halston told me, she was like, "Who's this girl? I don't know about her."
Well, there was a workshop where Katrina Lank played Julie. And, you know, she was the girl of the moment. And, of course, my husband was obsessed with Katrina Lank. Everyone was obsessed with Katrina Lank. I, of course, also was a little obsessed with Katrina Lank and made a complete fool of myself at one of the workshops of Tootsie, because she's a kind of a shy, strange kind of girl, you know. Do you know who I'm talking about, Lee?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's kind of a hippy dippy, you know. And I walked up to her and I was like, "Katrina Lank, you're the Lank, you're the girl of the hour. Oh my God." And she backed away. So I mean, you could see she was horrified. And I was like, "So what are you going to do? Are you going to do Tootsie? What? I mean, you're going to win a Tony Award." She was so horrified. And I realized, I hope she doesn't do Tootsie, because I've now made such a fool of myself. And then Lilli got Tootsie, and she was so great, though. I mean, she was so perfect. She had so much gravitas and poise and grace. And then she opened her mouth and sang, and we were all just so blown away. And now I'm like madly in love with Katrina Lank. Who the fuck is that? I didn't even know Lilli Cooper. I don't give a damn about Katrina Lank.
You think
the show was definitely
Katrina
not
Lank?
complete until Lilli came on board. Like, it felt like all the pieces like fell into place as soon as we got her, and it was so magical when the whole thing, and Michael McGraw, he was the last one too. Like, Lilli and Michael came in at the same time, and having that first table read with everybody, it was like fireworks. It was awesome.
Well, the friends, you can't have the cast of Tootsie without Andy and Sarah. Andy has literally I don't know.
Look at his beard.
Andy's like
so nervous.
If you look at Andy's credits and you get intimidated, like actor, Cyrano, Measure to Measure, like scary, like acting, and then Avenue Q and hand to God. I mean, Sarah's brilliant in that. So, you guys, how was your journey to Tootsie?
We did a rating. They liked us. They kept us.
And they kept you. And the rest is history.
It was great. Sarah, I got to see you in Avenue Q.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
At on Broadway, or I did it at New World too. Did you? Which one?
On the Broadway.
Really?
Yes.
Cool. Was I good? Was I good? Did you like it?
There's a reveal on the show. John, are you having another baby?
Another baby? No, I just have the one.
He had one
baby. So that's the one. Okay, I thought maybe there was
LJ. With LJ, are you connecting?
Yes, maybe connect the dots in the story.
Connect the dots for Lee. Tell Lee.
Right. My now wife and mother of our child, Temple is her name, our little daughter, who is 2 months, a little more than 2 months old. We met because she was Santino's dresser in Chicago. So that's how we met. Santino likes to take credit for the entirety of our relationship.
I do. Because without
him, but where there's a Fontana, there's a marriage and a baby. That's
Well, John, I got a whole bunch of messages about you being on the show because a lot of people love John, and oh my goodness!
Yeah, that's my wife and my baby.
No, I saw
they're beautiful
the other day, and your baby is gorgeous.
She is.
She is gorgeous.
Well, I was getting messages because John, was on Riverdale, and I have a whole bunch of all of the cousins and people, like, they were all like, John was on Riverdale. He was in the trench coat on Riverdale, as this undercover agent guy on Riverdale.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, I was not actually an undercover agent. If you haven't watched it, you're not caught up yet. That was seasons ago, guys. Get with it.
And obviously, you play the TV actor, like the TV star actor in Tootsie. We're hysterical.
Thank you. I was glad to be one of the people, kind of like what Santino was talking about earlier, that my character doesn't really exist in the movie, which is such a great blessing because I didn't have to be like, wait, I liked it better when Bill Murray did it.
Right. I get it.
Dustin Hoffman's really good. I don't know about this guy. So, I didn't have any of that, which was great.
I want to also say that this whole group, so we had the captain of this ship, as it were, is the incredible director Scott Ellis. And everybody here was brought onto a reading because Scott, one of the things that Scott does brilliantly well besides comedy is casting. He knows what a show looks like and who should be in it. And everybody in it, he would say to David Yazbek and I, I'm going to bring somebody in for this reading. Just see what you think. And every one of them got cast. He knew exactly what this puzzle should look like. And the amazing thing about Scott was that he was able to take every element of the show and bring it together and and orchestrate it in a way that let the comedy and let the actors just shine. I mean, some of the funniest moments I remember of the show were watching Santino and Scott Ellis in rehearsal together. I have video, that's awesome. But Scott, the comedy of the show really began and ended with Scott Ellis. Truly, he was a magician with what he was able to put on that stage, and never stood in the way of the comedy, but always found a way to accentuate it. It was an amazing thing to watch. It really was. I know you all disagree, but
no, I agree.
No, we're nodding.
We all agree.
No, absolutely. And also, even when you are fumfering, like when I did You Can't Take It With You, I was really fumfering in the rehearsal room. Scott was very confident that I would find my way, and he was always right, and you find your way.
Julie, just 1 second. For the viewers at home, can you just elucidate a little bit what fumfering means?
Well, it means you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. And I loathe rehearsal. I hate rehearsal. I don't like process. The word process makes me cringe. If I hear the word table read, I'm going to fly out the room. I hate all of that. So it's hard for me to be in rehearsal and process and this and fumfering and not knowing what you're doing. But Scott was so great because he's like, you'll find it. He has real confidence, and you do. You find it.
And I will say, just in terms of going back to process, and another great early Julie Halston moment, before we did like a run through for producers when they came, Julie walking around saying like, this is it. We're not in rehearsal anymore. Like, you actually have to really do it now. You have to. We could get fired. They might not do the show.
Well, Julie, that leads us to talk about Julie. Julie is obviously your work, your one-woman show, your monologues, your Broadway career, your cabaret career is quite legendary and brilliant. I literally said to Lee when we were talking about this, I was like, Julie Halston has to come on the show because she is one of the funniest, most brilliant actresses really in the New York scene for you and you
140 years. What you're actually looking at, Robert, is a hologram. I actually died 8 years ago. Actually, when Elaine Stritch died, I actually died as well. And I'm a hologram, but I'm a hologram that still works. So that's okay. Yeah.
Well, I love that during this quarantine, you started a virtual talk show called Virtual Halston.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh.
I have to say, it's really been a real lifesaver. Lilli has been on the show. Santino's been on the show. Robert is going to be on the show next week. I just booked Louis Black, Judith Light.
We're not good enough, Andy.
I know, I know.
We're not good enough.
Reg Rogers is so bitter. I can't even tell you.
First of all, did you purposely book Louis Black the week before Judith Light? These are the things that I think about.
It's great. I wanted to do this. This was something that my friend Jim Caruso really begged me to do. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to go to sleep for 4 months. And I just wanted to drink and watch Netflix. That's really what I wanted to do.
Wouldn't have been long enough, turns out.
Exactly.
You still can drink and watch Netflix, except on Fridays you have a job.
Exactly. As I said to my dresser, Laura Horner, who's another person who was with us during Tootsie, Sarah, she sends her love. I said, Laura, this election is getting me so freaked out. I fear that I'm going to become an anorexic alcoholic. And she said, you already are.
That was my thought.
So, I just want to point out that Reg Rogers, who is a big part of this company, was with us at Soundcheck, and he's having terrible internet
technical difficulties.
No, he's not.
Oh,
I think he is.
I am looking backstage. If he pops up, I will bring him on.
Reg, if you're watching, come back.
I'm sure he's watching.
One of the most fun parts of Tootsie was watching the actors watch Reg Rogers every night on stage. It was an anomaly.
Do you remember the night he didn't come on?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Guys, tell that story. I was not on stage, but Andy and I were off stage listening to it and having a complete nervous breakdown.
Andy,
it was kind of fantastic.
Who saved what? Was it Lilli or Andy or John?
It was Lilli and John, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a communal effort, but it was pretty much
that's right.
Because it was this show within the show that we were doing, and Reg is supposed to come on and kind of interject, and he wasn't there, so we just kind of continued through the scene. And then did he just
he popped on, right?
Yeah, he just popped on and sat down next to, it was during that audition.
Yeah.
No one would have known. No.
Pages.
But
pages later.
He was upstairs in the dressing room with McGraw, and he was like, did I just miss my cue?
4 floors up, on the 4th floor.
The Marriott
and McGraw said,
huge.
I don't know.
But I just want to go on record as saying a big thank you to Robert Horn, because he really, it was Tootsie came into my life at a very terrible time in my life. My husband had died. It was awful. And this cast and Robert and Scott saved my life.
Aww.
And I will go on record as saying that this cast and this show saved my life. And it did. So there you have it. Curtain.
And I tell you, because David Yazbek, who really is a comedic genius and who had such a clear vision for comedically where the show lived and what it was supposed to be. We started writing the show almost 2 years before we even had any actors with it, and it was truly one of the most incredible collaborations I've ever had. We laughed nonstop, and I think a lot of you could see that on the stage. So much of what was on that stage was David Yazbek, and that he's so twisted in a brilliant way, and what he brought to that, and the process of rehearsing the show. The script that ended up on that stage was not what we started with. Every one of these actors, we really built it on them. Once we cast the show, so much of it was rewritten as we went. David and I rewrote as we went. They all had really strong points of view about their characters. And when you write a show, you sort of live in a bubble. You're with it for so long. And then the actors come along and see things that you never, ever see. And so you really develop it with them. That's why I love theater so much. It doesn't exist. It's not the same in television or film. Theater is such a collaborative art form. And we really, Scott and David and Dennis Jones, and we really worked with these actors. They created these characters. They really did.
Well, what I loved about this musical is that most musicals that transfer to Broadway, it pretty much mirrors the original concept of the musical. But you really turned this up. It was very different than the original film, and perfectly so for a Broadway show.
Well, I also felt, Larry Gelbart and Don McGuire, who wrote the original, are legends and iconic, and I didn't really want to put my name on their work. I think we approached it like it was a short story. What would you do if somebody told you you couldn't do the one thing you loved more than anything? And we just wanted to make it our own. We didn't want the tail to wag the dog, so we didn't put any, there were no lines or jokes from it that we felt had to stay. If they made their way back in, I think there were maybe only like 3 or 4. They did because what, Lily?
3 or 4? Are you talking about jokes that have been cut?
No, jokes
from the movie.
That made it in.
Oh, jokes that have been cut is a whole other stuff. There is a show like that.
Well, speaking of, the conversation about not being able to do what you love, which is this, in this story, how are you guys all doing, during this time? I know you guys are all spread around the country. I know theater is closed, Broadway is closed. How are you all handling all of this the past year?
Just eating a lot.
I am with you.
A lot. Drinking a lot,
I've been focused on my TV series.
Oh.
Wait, no, that's Sarah.
No!
Guys, this is not an easy time. I just got married.
Sarah just got married.
I'm wearing
Wearing
white.
a dress.
But my husband, he's the head electrician of the Friedman Theater. So it's very relevant in our household and super scary. And it's I don't know. The theater thing is it's a little terrifying. It's a little terrifying for people, really.
Are you back to work on your TV series?
We did finish it. So we went and did the whole quarantined bubble. Everyone was in surgical gear, and we just shot the last 3 episodes real quick. So it's coming out early this next year. So yes, I did finish that. But yeah, it's been, I don't know. It's not, I don't know. New York is just not the same. It's not the same without theater.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
It's very strange. I just did a movie with Charles Busch that he had written called The Sixth Reel. And very much like what Sarah was saying, you are masked and shielded and socially distanced. You cannot socialize. And plus, we were in glorious downtown Newburgh, New York, which is kind of like the crime capital of Hudson Valley. And it's horrible. But the studio was beautiful. But you can't do anything. And the only time you're unmasked is when you're doing your scenes. So it's very strange. And it's you couldn't we could not socialize. I mean, you had to eat in your room, eat in your dressing room. You go to the set, you go to your hotel room, everyone is separate, and it's odd. It's very odd.
Yeah. My sister-in-law is the makeup department head on the Apple TV series The Morning Show with
I just finished that.
Great.
Have you guys seen it? It's so good.
It's so good. And we always have them for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and we were just talking about it, and she can't come to our house because she can't be around anybody except her immediate family because they're in production. And it's such a
and she's makeup. Is that what you said?
She runs the whole department.
And they deal directly with the actors' faces, so it's considered like red zone.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
They get tested every day.
Yes.
Yeah,
we got tested. Did you get tested every day, Sarah?
Yeah, they started off doing 3 times a week, and then they every day. By the end, we were every day. It's a lot. I'm very hollow up there.
You have found a clear pathway to your
But like, I don't complain about that. I'll take it to work. I mean, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I'm very excited about this election. I'm very excited that there are like vaccines that people are talking about. Like, let's hope that theater we can get it together and we can, bring it back sooner than later. I know right now, Jeff, my husband, is saying that like they're scheduled for end of May. That'd be amazing if that could happen.
Amazing. And Santino and John, you spent the year with your babies. I mean, you guys have the whole job in and of itself.
I think I was just distraction. So, John, do that.
Right. I think I just found out I was on mute for the last 20 minutes. My cousin who was watching just texted me and told me that I saw your mouth move, but I didn't hear anything come out. So, yeah. But, hey, it's a good metaphor. Personally, I thought Tootsie was an excellent way to exit the entertainment industry. So, thank you.
Wow.
Thank God for having a baby. Truly, I'm literally doing nothing else except having my wife and baby at home and enjoying that, which is great, and I really do enjoy it. But it's a weird time. My wife is a dresser, works at Ain't Too Proud. So again, just like with Sarah and her husband, we have a dual income household that is not firing on all cylinders. And yeah.
We've had so many. We had Rob McCloron, who has a baby daughter, and Johnny Rogers, who has a baby daughter, and it's the flip side is that you're getting time with your kids that you would never get if you were doing 8 shows a week. That's the great part. The lack of income is another story. But can I tell you something that Robert and I are so excited to share? These Broadway cast reunions that we just sort of happened upon by accident on our Quarantine Cabaret and Cocktail show have gotten us huge viewership, and several theaters around the country that are major Broadway tour producers reached out to us and said, we feel like this is a platform of value for our venue that is closed for a year. And so Robert and I started a sort of a campaign for all the major Broadway tours that aren't happening this year, that were going to happen, to provide an hour with the original Broadway cast that these venues can share with their patrons as a way to re-engage. But we're working it in a way that we can come back to you hopefully in the next few weeks and hire you
with money. People are giving us money to do what we do.
That's what we're doing now.
Oh wow!
More money than you've made doing any virtual event so far, I can assure you.
That's nice.
Not a high bar.
Yeah, it's zero.
Seriously,
we're having you $5 each.
When we've talked to these venues that have Tootsie booked, and Tootsie's not coming.
It's coming eventually.
Yes, of course. But it is so heartwarming to them to be able to support the original cast. And so we've created this module. It's out there. It's all happening. And we'll be reaching out to you and the cast of Hadestown and Frozen and Ain't Too Proud. And we'll do 2 or 3 of these a month. And it's a way for them to keep their audiences engaged while their theaters are dark.
Can we do can the Tootsie cast do Hadestown?
Yeah,
I love that idea. We'll have the original cast of Tootsie.
I want to be Andre the Shields.
Yeah. What did you say?
I want to be Andre the Shields.
I want to be one of the lamps.
I want to be that really tall one.
I almost said it.
I really want to be an Ace Mitchell. Really.
I love it.
Done.
That's wonderful, Lee. That's great.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
Tootsie Town 2020.
Well, you see how many people are commenting there. I think everyone is longing for art and longing for music and theater. And
until then, there's Tootsie. So,
there's this.
So, Robert, I just want, maybe the cast doesn't know this about you. But when I met you on the elliptical machine at the Sports Connection in West Hollywood.
Told you it was a gay bar.
Well, it was a gay bar, Jim. And Robert had like super curly, long
hair. I did.
Yeah.
Where's the photo?
And I was ripped. ripped.
You were.
Yeah.
And we just chatted because he was always on the elliptical machine next to me. And we chatted and chatted. And what do you do? And he's a writer and da-da-da. And then he said, but, to make money.
Wait.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Show the body.
growing it out. And Andy's growing it.
I'm Robert Horn on the elliptical.
Oh my God, John. Bob.
Let me tell you something. What year was that? Some of the jokes in Tootsie I wrote back then. That's all.
Robert told me that what he did to make money while he was trying to land his writing job was that he knitted sweaters. Like he could knit faster than anyone.
I did. I did a line of sweaters. I did.
We never got any of that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
We had Christmas during our run.
Not even a hat, Robert? Like, you couldn't give us like beanies?
Andy's got a knit sweater.
I made that beard.
Robert made me this.
He knit sweaters that he sold to like Fred Siegel. So any of you that have ever been to LA know that that's like a really high-end boutique, designer boutique. And
Wait, is that real? Lee, is that real?
It's real. And at the time when I met Robert, I was Henry Winkler's assistant, the Fonz in LA. And so I told his wife that I met this guy who knits these incredible sweaters that sell at Fred Siegel. And you came over and she ordered like a bunch of sweaters from you.
Yeah.
That's my.
Wait, how much did they cost? How much did you sell them for?
I don't remember. They weren't cheap.
$400 or $500. They were like really. And
Wait,
I only knew I only knew like one stitch and one. I had gotten mono, and I was really sick, and so my mother taught me how to knit because I was in bed for like months, and I knew one pattern and one stitch, and I made this sweater and gave it to a friend who was in the rag business, in the fashion business, and sold it to a store and
rag.
But it got out of control.
I thought you were going to say they were in ragtime.
That they based ragtime on my story.
Right.
This is weird information. I feel weird about it. Like, how do we not know this?
I know.
Yes, I had a lot of trouble. Called Stitches after my dog was named Stitches. My Cocker Spaniel, Lily.
Oh, I've seen pictures of your Cocker Spaniel Stitches.
Hey.
Robert, do you still knit at all?
I do not.
Oh, what a lost art.
It is a loss. Yes. The world is worse off for that fact.
The world is
raglan sleeve sweaters no longer exist.
I just can't believe we never knew this.
Yeah.
I thought we knew everything.
Yeah.
I did a lot of things.
When did you cut your hair?
I cut my hair in like the early 90s because I was listen, my hair was really threatening to be more interesting than I was at that point. It was just fair. And one night I fell asleep on my hair and I couldn't get up because I think it's time to cut this off.
I hate when that happens.
Were you like the Jordan Roth of your day?
I was. Do you remember? I was Jelly Bean Benitez. Jelly Bean Benitez, the DJ. That's who I was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very.
He was like Tarzan. I mean, he had this like naturally kinky curly. It was gorgeous and it was really long. You
should grow it out, Robert. You should just grow it out. You should grow it out.
See what it looks like now.
Yeah.
That's what the world needs. Another 42-year-old Jew with long hair. Don't say it. Don't say it. But let's talk about Tootsie. That's why
you know what was funny? Earlier in the day, Lee wrote me and said to me, "Oh, when John's gone," and it was about John.
He'll come back.
Right here, I just bent
Oh,
over.
he was ducking.
Lee wrote me today and said we were looking at whatever all you guys have done, your illustrious careers, and Lee said to me, "What in the world is World of Warcraft?" And I said, "John is the voice, and millions of children everywhere. If you have children at home, are probably listening to John yell and scream in these video game voiceovers."
Guys,
But like children? Isn't that an older game?
My brothers play that.
Yeah.
Okay, it should be older.
It's scary, right?
Actually, conversation.
There are children.
I said I want to do an Insta story post, and I want it to be like the recipe for today. What do you get when you combine 2 Tony winners, 3 Tony nominees, a 4-time Mac Award winner, blah 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 blah, and I said, but I want to include everybody in the cast.
Voice of War,
that credit, which I didn't know what it was. Congratulations,
World of Warcraft. Listen, I taught 5th and 6th grade for a decade, so I heard all about it.
Yeah. You just aren't nerdy enough, or you didn't spend enough time on your computer.
I heard all about it.
I was an original Warcraft player before I ever became a voice. It was thrilling to me. That's one of the coolest things for my little brother teaches high school, and that's like an ace credit. That in Riverdale high school students,
that's what I'm saying. Yes,
gangbusters. So yeah.
I think in the world there are gamers and non-gamers, and I learned last month that there are also campers and non-campers.
Non-camper.
Non-camper.
I want a bed.
Camper.
Are you a camper?
Obviously, he's a camper.
Yeah, look at that.
I number 2 in the woods. Over the summer.
That is real camping.
Over the weekend,
it's either real camping or you have a problem.
No, I wasn't camping. I was here.
Wait, did you bring toilet paper, Andy, or did you use a leaf?
Shovel.
I actually didn't have a shovel.
You just shake it off.
I didn't have a shovel. I had some TP, but I kind of made a kind of cairn.
Oh.
Cairn.
From what?
That's a camping term, Lily.
Yeah, for the viewers at home.
Friends, not a camper.
Right?
Cairn is sitting stack rock.
I think we have to add this, Robert, to the list of things we never thought we'd hear on the show.
No, you put 2 rocks together? Okay.
Ow. Julie is hiding her face in shame.
My idea of camping is on stage. That's
there you go.
And the other times I'm at the Ritz-Carlton.
That sounds good to me, Julie.
Yeah.
Sand in one hand and total judgment in the other.
So is anybody finding ways to get away, to travel a little safely during this time? Has anybody?
I've rented a lot of cars, and I've driven me and my husband and my 2 dogs up to the Catskills several times, and I think it's genuinely saved my sanity.
Yeah. Are you in Manhattan?
Yeah.
So you need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I literally just got back, and 2 hours ago we rented this beach house up in Ventura, up on the beach.
The pictures were gorgeous.
And we took my mom, which was a whole other, but it was so beautiful, and it was just you're going from one house to another. You're still basically, but just sometimes that change of environment does everything, and it suddenly was romantic again, and it was really, really nice. So just sometimes you just need to be in a different house, and it changes your perspective.
Did you Airbnb it?
Yeah, it was. I don't even. He found it on some Marriott house share, but it was really beautiful. I didn't even know that.
So no, that's not an Airbnb.
Will you send me the link?
That was something fancier than an Airbnb.
Yeah. Oh, and it was fancier than that. Our house was beautiful. It was really nice. I'm gonna go to New. I'm coming to New York. I'm gonna come to New York. I'm gonna do it.
Wow.
For the Thanksgiving parade.
He's gonna march down Fifth Avenue all by
Why
himself.
are you doing that, Robert?
Last year for the Thanksgiving parade, and I'm not doing it this year.
Santino, you went to Washington State. Is that where your family is?
Yes, I'm here now. Yeah, this is where I went to high school, middle school, and high school.
Got it.
And we drove an RV from New York to Washington State in like 6 weeks ago. We've been here for like 6 weeks, so we got it. We got out.
Nice.
Did you drive? Did you drive the RV?
I drove. Yes, I drove. Yes, we did across the country, which was actually lovely.
You know, let me also, Lee, Robert, I want to say something because I'm looking at these people, and you know, when you work on a show, it is such an intense experience. You are literally in this mosh pit, in this bubble of intensity for months and months and months, and then the show opens, and hopefully you have success and you get well reviewed, and the cast lives together. But you really do create a family. And I got to tell you, just sitting here looking at these people who I haven't seen in a long time, I feel such love for these people, and I know they feel it for each other. It is an incredible experience to do an original Broadway show and have that experience together. And it does, when the show ends or moves on to something else, that does not go away. You look at these people and your heart grows seeing these people. You really do. I love these people.
Actually, seeing that was very moving. Seeing the B-roll was very moving. Seeing, you know, Leslie and Drew and all the dancers, and you know, I mean, it was very moving.
Yeah, we had it was such a familial ensemble. Everybody there, everybody were stars in the show. We left once opening night happens. We all leave, and they stay together. And the way that a show continues to grow, so does the bonding.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before in other interviews, but every night before the show, we would gather in Santino's room, in Santino's dressing room, to just shoot the shit and just gather together. And it was a really, beautiful, fun, funny, sharing moment that we shared for every single show, except for the nights that I was like mad at Santino or whatever.
Those were the best.
Well, as you can see by the people watching in the comments, the impact you guys had and the chemistry you had and the art that you guys created definitely made an impression to a lot of people and brought a lot of joy to a lot of people.
We've done these reunions now for the last 8 months, like one a month we do. And the first one just sort of happened. We weren't planning it. We saw that kid, Jake Ryan Flynn, who he was Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and he was the son in Mrs Doubtfire. And he had done a parody video on YouTube at the beginning of COVID, and he rewrote the lyrics to Good Morning Baltimore from Hairspray to Good Morning Quarantine. And he filmed this video with his family and his next door neighbors. And it was adorable. And so we looked to him to have him on the show. This is like week 3, right? Or something like that. And his mom and I were chatting and coordinating, and she said, Jake thought it might be fun to invite some of the other cast members on if you're interested. And I was like, sure. So before we knew it, we had the entire principal cast of Mrs. Doubtfire on the show. And it was so much fun. And so it just kind of happened that way. And the dialogue between the cast members was very much about the fact that they haven't seen each other in this, then it was this many weeks, now it's this many months. And it's been really, really heartwarming and sweet to reunite, not only for the viewers that are fans of the show, but for the cast that hasn't, been on a Zoom call or whatever for.
We do those, Lee.
We do.
We do
Yeah,
them.
we do them a lot.
Yeah, this is a tight crew. Yeah.
We talk about doing them a little more than we actually do them, but
we've fallen off a little.
I also think that we're kind of lucky. I know this sounds crazy. It's like a blessing in disguise that we closed like in January earlier than the quarantine started. I really do think that, because if we were just to have to go home one day and leave all of our crap in the theater and not see each other, it would be truly devastating. So I feel for those shows that had that experience, but we got to say goodbye. We got to kind of close the show out and really say goodbye to our show, which was a really powerful night and moment. So I'm really grateful that we got to do that.
Yeah, that is so hard. The cast that haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
Or that are just on hold, you know.
But I do think there's going to be a theater renaissance when this is over. I truly do. I think it's going to be the golden age of theater all over again. I think there'll be, hopefully, it'll be in a environment where costs can come down and it could be more accessible to people. And I think this has been an opportunity for everybody to look at the state of theater and where we were and things that had gotten out of control, as well as things that we cherish about it. And I think there's going to be this golden age when we come back.
I'm all for that, boy. That would be fantastic.
Or bronze age at this point.
We had the Falsettos cast on, and Nick Adams said, which I thought was, and it just resonates with me. He said, theater has been around for centuries, and it's always there, and it always comes back, and it's resilient, and it will restart. It may be slightly different, but it's going to be back, and that you can count on.
We won't have Ben Brantley now. That's the difference.
Or Trump.
Or Trump. That's definitely.
I know we try and stay politically neutral on this show, but
sorry.
That's over now.
It's theater.
Sorry.
And if it's theater, if he's there, there's no theater.
That's true.
True. 100%. You guys are so wonderful, and really, really thank you for giving us your time and
thank you.
The love you guys have for each other, and giving some time to the people who love your work.
And I cannot wait to reach out to each and every one of you, hopefully in the next few weeks, to see
money.
The Tootsie cast reunion that I can hire you for.
Yes.
To do
Thank you for what you're doing right now.
Yeah, thank you for
doing. Exactly.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
And now a closing musical number.
Yeah, take it away.
How do we get out of here? Do we just exit? Do we leave?
Robert and I.
Now?
This is how it happens.
Yeah, this is good. Santa's leaving.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bye, everybody. I just want to say thank you to everyone who helped make tonight's show happen. And John Grace, who works with Santino and his management, thank you for helping with that earlier too. John is my buddy.
And I'm so excited because we have actual closing credits for the first.
We do.
We are growing. We are growing.
Can I give a big shout out to my grandma?
Next week we have the 2 youngest female Tony Award winners ever, Daisy Egan and Leia Salonga. I'm super excited.
That's
Stay safe, mask up.
And hi to my grandmother. Hi, my grandmother's watching, and I wanted her to say, "Feel better."
Hi, Grandma.
And we'll be here next week. Stay safe. Thank you, Lee.
Bye, Robert.